Okay, let's go. Okay, so the first question was write a Python function that accepts two numbers as argument and returns the difference, sum, and product. Right? So the question is you have to accept two numbers as argument and you have to return sum, difference, and product. Right? These are the three things that you have to return. Okay. Now, if you want to understand the functions, there is a one video on this channel. There is little bit glitch with the audio, but I guess the video is productive. You will learn the basic concepts related to the function. If you want to check it out, you can find it here in the playlist. Okay. Now, let me show you how we can do it. Since we have to use a function, as it is saying, you have to use an argument and a return. So, from the two things, one is argument, this argument, and the return. That means you have to use a function here. You have to use the function here. I will say def, and here I will say, let's say, find, and here, since it is saying argument you are using when you are calling a function. When you are calling a function, that means whenever you are first time calling a function, at that time you will pass these two numbers as an argument, right? So if you are passing the two things as an argument, so for that to catch them, you need a parameters here. You need a parameters here. I will say num1, comma num2, right? These are the two parameters that I will be having here, right? And let's say I'm saying the past here, that means I'm not trying to do anything right now. So I will say when I have to call the function, this is a function called function calling. Okay. And at the function calling, whenever you are calling a function, you have to pass the arguments to these two parameters, right? You have to pass the argument to these two parameters. First thing, let's say I'm saying 34 comma 67. That means here I am passing the two arguments. One is this, second one is this, to this function, right? Now what we have to perform, we have to perform the sum, difference, and product. If I will say directly here, return, return, and I will say here num1 minus num2, comma, num1 plus num2, comma, num1 into num2. Right? These are the three things that I am performing and returning the position here, right? So if I run this program, I hope you all guys know that we will not get any kind of a output here. What is the reason? Since it is returning to the position from where you are calling it, but you are not catching it anywhere here, right? So if you want to check this thing directly on the screen, so you can use the print statement. You can use the print statement. Let me use the print statement. Okay, let me run it. Okay, so you are getting the output here. This thing I am doing by myself. That means I am giving the value here. Now, if I have to take a user defined value, so what I will say, I will define one variable a equal to int, or I can use the float as well. Input, I'll say enter num1, and then let me copy the same thing. Control C, and here let me take this as a b variable, and I will say enter num2. Okay, that means these two things I am taking from the user, right? I can keep them here, I can keep them here as well before this def function. But whenever you are calling a function, you should define a function first, then you should call it, right? So here, whatever the user is giving, I'm saving it in A, and second number I'm saving in B. Now, if I will run this, it will throw an error, right? 23 56. Now it will throw an error saying that find missing two required positional arguments, num1 and num2. That means here you have to pass the two arguments. You have to pass the two arguments. Let's say those two arguments I'll be passing as a comma B, right? That means this A will be stored in number by default because this is at zero position, this is at zero position. B will be saved in num2 because these are at position 1 and 1, right? Now, if I will run it again, now it will give you the output. Let's say 23 I'm seeing, and the second time I'm seeing 2. Okay. Difference 23 minus 2 is 21. 23 plus 2 is 25. 23 into 2 is 46, right? That means it is returning something. I can do it like this. If I have to preserve the space, मुझे space बनानी बचानी है, space complexity that we are saying, I'll copy it, and instead of using the A here, I will say directly, give me the input, and here I will again say directly, give me the input, right? And let me remove these things, and it will work fine still, right? Again, say it say enter num1. Let's say I'll say 12 and 3. Okay, now it's giving me the output same. 12 minus 3 is 9, 12 plus 3 is 15, 12 into 3 is 36, right? So what is happening here when you are calling, okay, this define function you're defining, then you are calling a function, you are saying print, okay, what to print? You will follow the brackets here, right? You will solve the print bracket. Once you are coming inside the print statement, you find there find. Okay, what is the find? Find is the name of this function. That means you are calling this function here, right? Then again, here is a bracket, right? Now you will solve the bracket of this find as you are doing in the mathematics, and here you are saying int input into the number. When the interpreter is seeing this input, okay, it now knows you have to take the input from the user, taking the input from the user, then taking the second input from the user, then calling the function find. First input is going here, second input is here, then calculate this thing and return it to the position from where you are calling it, right? I can also store it somewhere here. I can also store it somewhere here in the xx x equal to this, right? If I will run it and it's giving me the error, what say unmatched something, okay, maybe of this thing. Okay, enter the first number. Let's say I'm saying 23, and I'm saying 4. Okay, you are not getting any kind of output. Why? To check the output, you have to use the print statement. Okay, now I'll say x, and let me run it. Let's say I'm saying 23, then I'm saying 1. Okay, it is going with 22, 44, 23, right? That means whatever you are returning from here, you are assigning that to the x. That means you are storing x, then you are printing the x, and the output you are getting. This is the first program. If you have doubt in this argument passing and the parameters and what is the return function, what are these things, please check that video. It's the basic functions that I have put on this channel. uh, I hope you will get a better understanding of this thing. I know there is an audio problem, but just watch that, you will get the clarity. Thank you.